a Rams fan. It was not good if you were the Rams fan with the Dolphins win last night. But that is where we're going to start today's show off, and that is with the Miami Dolphins, and that is with their victory over the LA Rams 23-15. So as you guys know, Tua did play last night on Monday Night Football. The Dolphins did beat the Rams, and Tua went for 207 yards with 1 touchdown with 1 interception. Total, the whole game, the Dolphins rushed for 67 yards. One of them was a reverse play that was a touchdown to Washington, I believe his name was. But Dolphins do move to 3-6 on the season, and they're sitting at 10th in the AFC playoff race. 10! But the question is, can the Miami Dolphins make the playoffs? Can the Miami Dolphins go from 2-6, be the third team ever to make it to the playoffs after starting the season off 2-6? Can they make the playoffs? And when I first was introduced to this question, I saw the people talking about it. I seen people in our trash talk groups talking about it. I'm like, what? Dolphins and playoffs? We were talking about this last week, right? When they finally started to play well. They did lose, but they were playing well. But now this week, they played even better. And I actually posted it on our Facebook page. I'm like, well, these are the Dolphins that we've been wanting to watch, right? They moved to 3-6. So when we look at the AFC playoff race in general, right? When you look at the race, it is a very, very top-heavy race. From 1 to 6, those teams are pretty much locked. Let's just call a spade a spade. Those teams are locked. The Chiefs are making the playoffs. The Bills are making the playoffs. The Houston Texans are making the playoffs. The Steelers are making the playoffs. The Ravens are making the playoffs. And the Chargers are making the playoffs. I believe those 6 teams are pretty much locked for this NFL playoff picture, AFC-wise, right? Now, the 7th seed is a wide open spot. We have the Denver Broncos battling. We have the Indianapolis Colts somehow still capable of making the playoffs. We have the Bengals. Yes, those Bengals can still make the playoffs. The Miami Dolphins, and yes, even the New York Football Jets can all make the playoffs right now, all battling for that 7th position. When you look at percentages and APIs and estimation, right, the Dolphins have a 10% chance of making the playoffs. I feel about 8 or 9 wins is what they need to do to get into the playoffs. Looking at their schedule moving forward, pretty favorable. Pretty favorable. They play the Raiders. That's going to be a dub. They play the Packers. Dolphins always play the Packers well. That could potentially be a win as well. Then they play the Jets, a struggling Texans team, the 49ers, and Browns, and then Jets again to end the season. So they play the Jets twice, and they play the Raiders and the Browns. Those right there, guys, are 4 automatic wins. Let's just be honest. Those are 4 automatic wins. That will give them 7 wins on the season. Now, they will probably need 8 or 9, more than likely 9 wins to get into the playoffs. Where is that extra win going to come from? Is it going to come from the Packers? Is it going to come from the Texans? Is it going to come from the 49ers? They need to win 2 of those 3 games. So when we look at it, the Packers are a team that many people are kind of sleeping on, like I feel. I think the Packers are a team that they have the opportunity to be a great team. And they were on their bye week, and people are like, oh, the Lions, oh, the Vikings. Let's not wait the sleeping giant in the Green Bay Packers quite yet. But on the bright side, that game is at Lambeau for the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football on the last week of November. So for the Dolphins to go into Lambeau on a cold night, on Sunday night, after Thanksgiving and all that crap, it's going to be a tough reach for them. Then we look at the Houston Texans. Oh, by the way, that game's at Houston as well. A mid-December game. Yeah. Texans are going to get on a roll at some point. They're going to get right. But then they play the 49ers the next week at home. That game should be a win. At home, middle of Christmas, 49ers will probably be battling for the division like as well. The Dolphins will be battling for playoff lives at that particular point. That's a game to circle. Week 16, that is a game to circle. That is going to be a playoff game. But to win 2 of 3 over the Packers, Texans, or 49ers. That is going to be a tough task because the Packers and Texans are both on the road. You're not going to beat the Packers at Lambeau. Just not going to happen. Texans, potentially. The 49ers, potentially. But that is a tough ask to ask. Beating the Jets twice, beating the Patriots, beating the Raiders, beating the Browns, at the Browns on Sunday Night Football. They got a lot of road games. So, guys, are they a playoff-bound team? No. As I would like to jump on that hype train, as my man Arthur Brown is moving back to Miami. Be safe over there, moving back to Miami, though, from Kentucky, dog. But the Miami Dolphins just kind of dug themselves in a hole a little too early. Miami Dolphins dug themselves in a 2-6 hole. Yes, Tua was hurt. Quarterback play was terrible. Tyreek Hill was not finding the end zone. Defense sucked. I mean, everything can come perfectly together. They can be playing Super Bowl caliber football, and even if they make the playoffs, they're going to be a 7 seed at that particular point. Maybe 6 seed. Maybe the Chargers slip up just a little bit. But very first round, you got to either go to Pittsburgh, Baltimore, or Buffalo. Have the Finns ever played well in the cold? No. So, I mean, you can be a playoff-bound team, and I am rooting for you to turn around and make the playoffs, mainly because I don't want the Broncos to make it. Sorry, Mark. But it's going to be a waste. Like, legitimately, it is going to be a waste. The only thing good about making the playoffs this season is Mike McDaniels can put that little feather in his cap and say, look, we made it. We made it, boys. Mike McDaniels is the worst primetime winningest coach ever, right? Meaning Mike McDaniels and the Miami Dolphins do not beat winning teams. Look at it. I think they're have 2 or 3 wins over teams that finish the season over 500. Like, they're not good against good teams. They're good against bad teams. Well, guess what? You play good teams in the playoffs. So, the Miami Dolphins are not playoff bound. Yes, the win was nice. Yes, it's a good story to talk about. Yes, it brings good feelings to my body. Like, yay, the Miami Dolphins might be good. But they're not going to make it. They're not going to beat the 49ers. They're not going to beat the Packers. They're not going to beat the Texans. You need 2 of those 3 wins right there, and it's not going to happen. And then to say that you are going to beat the Patriots? Listen, we can dog the Patriots all we want. They're a dog shit team right now. Let's just be honest. Beep that. But the simple fact of the matter is the Patriots have shocked some teams, right? Hell, they beat the Bears last week. They beat the Bengals week 1. Laura, where's your daughter at? They beat the Bengals week 1. The simple fact of the matter is, yes, the Dolphins can make it, but they're not going to. They are not going to make it one bit. They're not going to beat the Jets twice. They're not going to beat the Browns, and they're probably not even going to beat the Raiders. Where's Jim at? The Raiders are going to win this week. They're going to snap that 8-game losing streak. No, they're not. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. But guys, let me ask that question. Do you guys think the Miami Dolphins are a playoff bound team? And if they do make the playoffs, can they win a game? I don't think they can even make the playoffs, let alone win a game in the playoffs. They're not going to go into Buffalo win. They're not going to go to Pittsburgh to win. They're not going to go to Baltimore, Maryland to win, or Buffalo. It's just not going to happen. The writing is on the wall. This is a lost season. Just write it off. Get healthy for next season. Retool, re-add, build up that defense. Ride it till the wheels fall off, as Clarice Campbell said, right? Ride it till the wheels come off. And Laura says, Rams deserve the L. Yes, I'm still salty over losing to them. She's a Vikings fan. Guys, Laura is a Vikings fan. For the people that don't know on the radio, that you guys are joining us here for the first time, thank you guys for joining us, and big shout out to you guys. This is a live interactive show site, so if you are listening to us on Big X Sports Radio, come over to facebook.com/manhour or youtube.com/manhour, and we can interact with you like we are Laura right now. Also, Derek says, nope. Derek says, nope to playoff bound Miami Dolphins, Derek, or no that they can even win a playoff game. Or is it nope to both? Nope. A little bit of nope. Laura says she's doing schoolwork, almost completing, done with her junior year being a sophomore. There we go. Let's go. Laura, I'm not for sure how I feel about that, but congratulations. So, guys, are the Miami Dolphins a playoff-bound team? That is the question. Are they a playoff-bound team? And I have to say no.